Well, hey, good morning. Good morning in this second hour of Fetch Your News from the we're here at the office, taking over for BKP. I guess you guys got fair warning out there that he was going to leave, and Jane and I we're gonna jump in here. So if you're still with us, I guess that didn't scare you off, right?
Right.
Good morning, Janie.
Morning.
How are you?
It's early.
Jane was only 5 minutes late this morning, meeting me in the car, and she had her ringer off. I'm sorry I banged the mic there. I was nervous. I called Doc Whaley, and he said, I'm in Atlanta saving lives, so hope she gets there. Sure enough, yep, she got there. She got there just fine, and we made it here in plenty of time and got set up here. We're glad to be with Josh this morning. We're glad we could celebrate a little bit on this pre-holiday week. A lot of stuff going on this week.
Yeah, getting excited.
You got family in town or out of town?
All my family's out of town. That's good because they were all in town last week. I cooked for 2 days. I'm tired. I mean, really.
So you're here with me at the show because you're
am.
tired, right? This is where we get to relax, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just thought I'd just start the show by telling everybody out there that we are getting ready for Independence Day, the celebration of our birth of our nation. A lot of people do that by enjoying fireworks at night, so I just thought I'd run down the shows that I have a listing of. I don't know, I'm sorry that I don't know the show date or the location for Gilmer County, but Friday, July 5th, McCaysville, Saturday, July 6th in Blue Ridge, Thursday, July 4th, the actual holiday, in Blairsville, and Wednesday, July 10th in Murphy. So, Josh, do you have any idea when the Gilmer fireworks go, or the LJ, or whatever they call them? Now, well, we'll maybe try to figure that out and give you an update before the end of the show. But again, we're glad to be here for Brian. We'll be with you again this week on Friday when Bruce comes back in town. Bruce has been gone visiting family with his wife Barbara, and we wish them safe travels coming home on the 4th of July. Bruce likes to travel when he thinks there's going to be nobody on the road so that he can just pedal to the metal and get back. So
He and my husband ought to hang up.
Bill is one
He scares me to death
to
driving.
put the pedal to the metal.
Terrifying.
Bruce gave me a report the other day. He said you guys went to the movies one time
No,
together, and
Land.
he just went, "Oh man, it was a white knuckle ride all the way."
I was terrified going to church Sunday. I said, 43 years.
Because you were with Bill, or because you were going to church?
No, well, because I was with Bill. I didn't want to be going to my own funeral. I'm telling you.
That's funny.
Can't convince him, though.
What's that?
Can't convince him. He's
July 4th of the Gilmer fireworks.
Hell on
Okay, I'm
wheels.
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Hell on Wheels is correct. Well, he was in Atlanta this morning saving lives, and again, he'll be back with us on Friday for Ask the Doc, and then we'll do the All-Star panel right after that with Brian and Bruce and Jane and myself, and we're glad to be here this morning. Mm-hmm. Brian touched a little bit this morning on about that travesty out in Portland. You want to chat about that? You want to? Have you been stomping around the kitchen?
Yeah, I was
lately?
going to say, I don't want to chat. I want to stomp around a little
Well,
bit.
stomp around the 17th floor of the palatial studios of Fetch Your News.
Yeah, right. We have a corner window office.
That's right. That's right. And a whole bank of TVs behind us. This is big time.
I know it is.
This is big time.
We are on the move.
I know Brian touched on it, and he played the video. We don't need to see the video again. It's nasty. We got a mayor out there, Ted Wheeler, who has obviously allowed the streets of Portland to be a city ruled by anarchy. We've got Antifa mobs going through the streets, terrorizing people, citizens that come down to the city. Yeah, last night I watched a piece of The Five on Fox News, and Lisa Booth, who was one of the commentators, said her family lives in Portland, and they're scared to death to come downtown. How does that ultimately affect tourism, property values? I mean, or the Pacific Northwest is an absolutely gorgeous part of this country. The wineries out there that exist in Oregon and Washington. Excuse me. But I tell you, if I've got to march my fanny through the streets of Portland, I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't go there now. The thing that's just so disconcerting is that we have mayors, we have police chiefs, we have governors that are blatantly
Disobeying.
not following the laws of our land. Now, how can that be?
How can an elected official who takes an oath of office?
How can it be allowed to be? Why aren't they in jail? I mean, I go out and I run a red light, I get a ticket. I get a ticket. And that's a small thing. These people have no accountability, and I'm not sure what we're going to do about it. It's growing. Does that mean martial law? I mean, I'm not kidding. That part of the country is dangerous, and it's spreading like wildfire, and these people have no idea what they're getting into. These young, what's below millennial? Millennials are bad enough, but the younger ones than that, they think this is all pie in the sky.
What's younger than millennials, Josh, you know?
Idiots. Maybe that's it.
What's that?
What did he say?
Generation idiot.
Yeah.
It wasn't me, folks. Talk to our illustrious producer back there. He's calling the shots. Anyway, that's good, Josh.
Well, it should frighten everyone. It even should frighten them if they stopped to think about it, because the tables can turn, and they will turn. When I read you a little bit about socialism in a little while and how they do things, they turn on anyone, even their own. They lie to them too, and then they get them in a cage.
I'm trying to do a little show prep. I'm reading last night, and I see that the police have had a stand-down order several times in the city of Portland. Ted Wheeler, the mayor, I didn't know this, but Ted is also the police commissioner.
Does he get 2 salaries?
Good question. I don't
about
know. Well, he's done a double negative dip on the ability to control the police. I'll tell you that. So, I don't know. It's just mind-boggling how these people take an oath of office to uphold the law, and they're just blatantly disregard for the laws that are on the books, just because they don't like the border policy, which is, by the way, the law. If you don't like it, change it. But don't just change it by fiat, change it by law. Change it by the process that we've set up in this government.
They need to remember that when Stalin, Lenin, all of these dictators, they would turn on their general number one if they thought general number one was thinking the wrong thing. They would shoot them. So these people, they need to look into history and see how the leaders of Antifa, I believe it's funded by George Soros and the lot.
I think he's probably a huge contributor.
They are using them, and they can be turned on as quickly as they're turning on law-abiding citizens.
Soros, as we all know, is part of the New World Order, and part of their MO is to create chaos, right?
Yeah, they want to control the world, and to control the world, they really have to get a handle on America, on the U.S.
Right, and in order to do that, they create chaos, whether it be at the border, whether it be in the streets,
everywhere.
And I have no doubt that Soros and his buddies are funding a lot of these people that are marching all the way up from Guatemala and Honduras to the U.S. border to try to assimilate.
They want them to come in, not only just to vote, which that will happen if things keep going. They want them to, I heard a commentary, they want to put all of us into tribes, factions that are fighting each other. They don't care what we're fighting about. They don't care. They're going to create blacks versus white, rich versus poor.
I'm convinced that and you're absolutely right, but the benefits, I don't think the Democrats actually like what's going on, but they like what is able to accrue to their party, which is what you just said. They like the votes. They see an end, they see a means to an end with all the chaos. So they put up with it. I don't think they're part of the chaos.
Yeah,
I think they put up with it. I think there's an underbelly that's creating the chaos.
I think they know what's going on and they're complicit with it. I do. I saw something yesterday that's saying that when we sent all that money to Iran, remember Hussein? Iran, 250 billion. Now they know it was sent to another country as well. And now they know, we know, my source, his name begins with Q. He's saying, I can't tell you his name though, I just can't. He's saying that...
I've tried, by the way.
Well,
I've tried.
Once we give them all this money, all these countries, Iran way back when the Shah was there, immediately huge kickbacks come to foundations, to their political campaigns, huge kickbacks personally. Look at Biden and his son working. He doesn't know a thing. He was on a board. All that comes back. So that's happening with Republicans too, but I'll tell you, it's more Democrats, in my view, than Republicans. So they don't want this to stop. This is a cash cow, and that's an understatement. So I think they're complicit with, and they have to be, because they are perpetuating the myth of the problem. They are part of it, and they like it, and they think when all this stops, they're going to be in control, sitting up there on the pedestal, and we're going to be the peasants and the workers.
The proletariats.
We're going to be the proletariat.
You've done some research on the history of kind of this mob rule mentality and where what the genesis of the whole thing was. Do you want to go there a little bit?
You mean socialism, or what are you talking about?
Well, Antifa.
Oh, Antifa.
Socialism. I mean, how did this whole movement? It started, and by the way, I don't know who these people are. They obviously don't have jobs if they're out during the middle of the week. Either that or they work the night shift. But wouldn't the first thing that come to mind say, if you're covering your eyes and you're covering your face, you're a coward. If you really believed in what you were perpetrating, wouldn't you be proud of that fact instead of hiding behind a black mask?
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just, maybe that's just being an old guy.
I've said this before, and many people are saying it. If you read 1984, when we read
George Orwell,
we thought fiction, my gosh, this is terrible, in the United States this will never happen. So then when Antifa started coming up on the scene, I did some research, and I would listen to members of Antifa speak on YouTube, and they'd say, what are you? And then the Antifa guy would say, we are against fascism. We are here to protect the people against fascism. They are fascist. You can look at how they operate. Look at that thing in Oregon. That is a fascist act. And so what's wrong is right. What's right is wrong. That is what's happening. And Glenn Beck wrote a book that I read, and I wish I could remember the name of it. And it gets a little boring, but it is exactly...
Glenn Beck can get a little deep.
Yeah, but it was deep. It just kind of went on. He could have, not that I'm a famous author, but he kind of modernized 1984 and put it into terms where you can really relate to, brought it up to today's you got your food in your mailbox, and it was a little cake, and you didn't decide what you got, how much you got. You had to walk on a treadmill for so many hours in order to send electricity to the plant that the government owns before you could get any electricity. Everyone had to walk on a treadmill. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So people have got to wake up, and we've got to help them wake up.
That's interesting. I didn't know that book existed. That might be fun to go back and look at.
You need to read it. I'm sure I've thrown mine away. I'm getting rid of stuff. But go to glennbeck.com. You can order it.
Yeah.
You'll really enjoy it. It'll give you some points.
I'll look it up on the break and see if I can find it. Okay. We can tell the folks to look at that piece. What else you got about socialism?
Well, my husband watched Mark Levin with his
The great one.
The great one. That man is so brilliant, and he puts things so everyone can understand them, I think.
My dear wife bought his book for me for Father's Day,
right.
which I started to read the other day. And
Enjoying it?
I mean, I got to tell you, it's great stuff. The first part is a little tough because he goes all the way. I didn't mean to change.
No.
We'll come back. But the first part of the book goes all the way back to the founding of this country and why the press was such an important part and how they played such a a vital role in the formation of the country.
I've seen him talk on that.
Yeah, I mean, he's just brilliant. But you know, as you get into the modern day and where we've gone in the toilet and how the tank has turned, so to speak. But anyway, go back to Bill and your.
Well, what I have friends and children of friends who are far left. They think what's going on is right. That we're paying. We should pay for everyone's everything. We, the government should pay for everything. So Bill said, Jane, you should look up the Constitution under Stalin, the USSR Constitution, and just see what that says. Well, I started printing it today, and it's a lot of pages. But basically, I would just like to teach a course. Somebody's got to start teaching in colleges. Would you think they would let them teach about socialism? I don't know, because it's not going to look very pretty when they get right into teaching it. All they're saying is how bad we are, not what they mean. But for instance, in the very first few articles, it has socialistic state of workers and peasants. That's all that's mentioned. Workers and peasants. Okay, children, which one do you want to be? A worker or a peasant? That's your choice. We want to overthrow the landlords and the capitalists and create a dictatorship. Okay, they want to overthrow the landlords. You're a landlord, basically, you own your home. You're a landowner, you may own something else. They're going to overthrow you, and all the power goes to the working people. Now, that's the first lie I ran into. They say everything belongs to the working people, but you can't own your home. You can't own the land you're farming. You don't own the crops that you grow. You can't own your tractor. And when you plant them, you give them to us. But the people own everything. That is a lie. You own nothing. They let you have your plates and your silverware, and that is put in the Constitution. I mean, it's the abolishment of capitalism, and that's what these people now say. AOC, abolish capitalism. Do you understand that abolishes the middle class totally?
Absolutely.
There is a lower class. There are workers and peasants. You go read that. And then, did you ever think Hitler was poor? I mean, he had all these homes. Do you think Stalin was poor? Do you think he ate very well? Remember those pictures of the poor Russians with their babushkas?
Babushka.
And they're in line and they're 3 loaves of bread. That happened. And that's what you're going to get, young people, if you keep up with this socialistic.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
I know I'm preaching to the choir.
No, you're good. You go, girl.
But what you need to know are some points that you can just say in a very calm, respectful manner to people who come up and say, this is ridiculous. And one more thing. Remember when Bernie said, I'm giving everyone free insurance. Well, it's going to raise our taxes. Yes, it's going to raise your taxes, but the taxes are going to be raised less than the insurance would have cost you. If you want your doctor, you can keep him. That
Lie.
we got a problem. We have a huge problem.
I agree.
How do we control Oregon? I mean, I don't mean that in the control way. How do we get our republic back?
That's a great question. What are the answers to going back to the rule of law? Do we impose martial law, like you said earlier?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that have said that, that are reading Q, that's coming.
That's coming. That's what they say. Well, listen, at first you get shocked. But then you look at Oregon, and people who live in Oregon, who are law-abiding citizens, are afraid to walk down the street. They may welcome some kind of help. it's all very convoluted.
Well, I mean, the poor guy that got attacked, I won't keep going back to that, because that's just one isolated incident of many. I mean, you
Right,
see
right.
Antifa in the streets of, around the Berkeley campus when they have someone that wants to come in and do a speech, and he might be a conservative, and he might be white, she might be white, whether it be, I can't remember their names now. The one that goes around that's got such a reputation of, stirring it up, if you will, and they just shout him down. They don't get, Berkeley used to be the ground zero for free speech.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, in the radical 60s when we grew up, everybody looked at Berkeley and said, well, you can get on a podium and say anything you want, and people will either cheer or they'll boo, but they give you the right to speak.
Or they leave.
Gone.
Right.
That's gone.
That is gone.
We-
And you wonder if it's gone. Like here we are in our wonderful little Blue Ridge. I wonder what would happen if I went to the park, set up my just started talking about conservatism, Christianity, freedom of religion, whatever you are. I wonder, you think not here in Blue Ridge, but I don't really know.
On a daily basis, when the train is running, if you go down right where the engine sits, there's always a stand with someone there that wants you to be more in tune with the Word of God. I don't know what their denomination is, if any. I don't know what their message is, but it's all peaceful. No one goes up and gets in their face.
Right.
No one throws a milkshake at them that's full of chemicals and quick-drying cement. I mean, that just doesn't exist in, I'd say, the majority of the U.S. right now.
What do you think, though? They're permeating their
Who be they?
Antifa and the
Okay.
like. So what if they decide, okay, George is kind of quiet. Yeah, we had this little issue with the mayor thing.
Yeah, we got rid of the Ku Klux
And
Klan
the
a long time
governor
ago.
thing, but let's go down there and stir up a little trouble. That can happen very easily.
It
You
can.
get 10 people here. 10 people can demolish a lot of what people have built up. It's kind of scary. I'm just looking forward. We can't just sit around and let it. We have to speak up.
Let's keep that thought, because that's an interesting path to go down. When you say, 10 people can come up to a little sleepy town like Ellijay or Blue Ridge or Blairsville. Let's take a break here, because we've been running our mouths now for about a half hour.
Can't believe it. I love to hear you talk.
Yeah, right. We've been running our mouths here for about a half hour, and we're having fun in the office this morning, taking a little time to give Brian a little chance to head over and stir up something else going on. I don't know if he went to a commission meeting or if he went to a budget reading or a budget hearing. I don't know where he went, but suffice to say, I'm sure he'll come back and report on that. But we are here for one reason, and that is because of the sponsors that support this show. Without our valued sponsors, whether it be Williams, the Diamond Center, or whether it be Sycamore Crossing or whatever, we appreciate everybody out there. You're going to see a run of them here in a few minutes when Josh takes us to break, and please support those folks. Keep your dollars home. Do one less Amazon package and do it locally, and it'll the benefit will be immense. So, Josh, take us to break here, and we're going to collect our thoughts and come back to what would happen in the little town of Blue Ridge if 10 people came in and tried to disrupt it. I got some thoughts on that. Josh, take us to break, please.